Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Today we have a very special episode here. First and foremost, welcome to the Dom Trap. I am your host, your director, your editor, your producer, your executive producer, your screenwriter, your first, your last, your everything, Dominique. And today, um, I know it's been about a month since the last episode, but I promise the wait for the next episode will not be as long. Hopefully, it won't be this long ever again. We have a special guest. This man has been my friend for almost 10 years. Almost 10 years. Wouldn't you agree? I know you like to go ahead and say it's already 10. You can speak, by the way.
I'm waiting on
I
you
got
to
I got my
talk.
intro in. Okay, so um yeah, almost 10 years. And it's one of those situations where you meet someone and you don't really see yourself being like being friends with this person. Like you guys know what I mean. Where it's like you meet this person, you're like, we don't have many similar interests, but then it changes with time and things get better. And you just walk into that person's life and you improve their life tenfold. Granted, they may disagree with that. That's because they're just a different person today than they were 10 years ago. Right? I mean, you've
Whatever
had that
you
kind
say, bro.
you've had that friendship before, right?
Nope.
I think you have. I know you have, matter of fact. So
You
yeah.
know that.
But I think overall, I mean, yeah, he did rub off on me, and he brought my life up the same way that I brought his life up, just in different directions. Yeah. So you just know that there's a higher power somewhere that puts the both of you together to create greatness, right or wrong. Because I think that we've achieved some greatness.
Picking up what you putting down, Playboy.
I'm glad that you have hands. Now, we realized, of course, later that we had things in common. I want to say that the first glimmer of there being something great here was when you came to my dorm freshman year and you saw that I had an Xbox 360. This had to be like after we might have went to the cafe or something. You came over and you saw I had an Xbox 360. You said, "Oh, I have one too." And I was like, "Cool, add me on there. What's your name?"
You actually remember all of this, bro? Like,
I have a memory of an elephant, bro. Like I remember everything. You should know this by now.
you actually remember this. This is crazy.
We never talked about this, did we?
We have not, but you remember all of this.
Okay, so this is an exclusive to you, just like it's an exclusive to the people. So, Dom Trappers, you're getting the treat today. So, you came over, you seen that I had an Xbox 360, and you said, "Oh, you have one of these too." And I was like, "Yeah, I have one." You like, "Okay, add me on there. My name is X Bruce 3 Wayne 3 X." And I said, "You got to slow down because that's a trash name first and foremost." Right or wrong?
Hey, bro, it's your story, man.
All right, this is your story too. It happened to you.
I don't remember nothing.
So you should, but that was really just the start of it. And then of course we still had the class together for the rest of that semester,
Mm-hmm.
and we of course exchanged phone numbers, and we just kind of stayed friends throughout that first year because you would always see me, and I wouldn't want anything to do with you or your homies. And they can attest to this, like they
Bro,
can
you
agree,
trash, dog.
because I was worried about getting to class, and y'all were worried about looking at the honeys. So yeah, and then
You
eventually
trash.
we found each other as being great friends, and then we became roommates, and then our friendship just progressed from there. Wouldn't you say?
You probably saved my college career. I ain't gonna stunt, cause
I think I saved your life, to be honest with you.
you did not save my
I
life.
think I saved your life.
You didn't. But at that time, boy, let me tell you, at that time,
Tell me.
boy, I was living good. I was living too good. Like,
Explain, please.
and look, trashed every night,
Yep.
trashed every day,
Yep.
trashed on the weekends. The
Mm-hmm.
only day I took a break was Sunday. And
And that's
low
because
key,
most of those days you went home.
well, low key, it wasn't even a break because by the time I was back, about 6 o'clock, the game done come on. We done went to shell room. The boys ain't got a case while I been gone, or I
Yep.
come back and I brought the case.
Right.
Hey, look, man. It wasn't no break, dog. We was in College Lakes every weekend.
Right.
Every weekend. I remember. Hey, look, this ain't even got nothing to do with what we're gonna talk about, but I still remember. I remember like the first couple times walking into Fox, Swamp Fox,
Mm-hmm.
and it freshman year still, and Keenan and them was
Shout out
we
Keenan, by the way.
my dog. We wasn't even cool like that yet. I wasn't even cool with Big J then. To this day, I still don't even remember how I got cool with Big J. But Keenan was on my hall.
Right.
Anyway, I remember walking in the Swamp Fox 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning before them boys really cut their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm drunk, like drunk. Walk in and they hear me. They done heard me like for 2-3 weeks at a time, just coming in, stumbling, trying to get my keys out. And they like, I could hear him running to the door to see who it is. But I say maybe like 2-3 months after that, I come in and Keenan like, dang boy, every time I get up and come to the door, it's you 3 o'clock in the morning, come stumbling back in. Where you be at?
Right.
Next thing I know after that, man, I got cool with Keenan drunk. I was drunk as a skunk. Woke up the next morning, I didn't even remember I talked to the man
Mm-hmm.
until I seen him like late in the afternoon. And he like, boy, you still feeling it from last night? And I'm looking at this nigga like, bruh, I ain't even how you know? Like what you
Right.
wasn't there. But yeah, man, long story short, I got cool with all them boys like that.
Mm-hmm.
But with you,
It
it
was
was
different.
just different because you like with them with Keenan and Jadon and the rest of them niggas was cool with.
Mm-hmm.
They like they came they were they came around. Like once I told them like I'm going to College Lakes, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, them boys would
Right.
pop up. Like I'm like, yo, it's cool, safe space, ain't nobody gonna bother you. Like you get trash, do whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But with you wasn't even on that. Like
No.
you I still remember when you told your mom, like I think I was at the house or something,
Mm-hmm.
and no, I'm lying. I think grades had came out or something. And you was like, since I started staying with Greg, my grades went down. Granted, mine did too because I ain't have no free time no more. I had too much free time by that point because I had stopped going out getting trash and all that every night.
Yeah, you was hanging with me,
Pretty much. And I was not,
improving yourself.
bro. You need to chill. You need to chill for real.
Yeah, man. But yeah, because I mean, it wasn't really the the class thing that was like ruining our grade. I think it was just like us being as close as we were at that time. Because I mean, you got to admit, we spent more time with each other than we did in the books.
That's a fact.
Like the trips that we spent, we took to Pizza Hut and the mall and A&D's, of course.
Boy, I
And
put you on that A&D's. Boy, I put you on that A&D's.
if you say so.
I put you on that A&D's. I put
Then on
too
top of that,
many of y'all on that A&D's,
the
man.
hours we spent watching Empire in its prime,
Yo, yo, niggas used to stop
and Walking Dead
everything.
Sundays.
Shout out to Linda Mood, man.
Yeah, shout out West, of course. Shout out West. But yeah, um, I didn't even welcome you, bro. So, ladies and gentlemen, give a huge round of applause to my man Greg, also known as, you say it before I say it.
I ain't got
What?
no, I ain't got no AKAs. My name is Gregory, ladies and gentlemen.
AKA Red Game Santana, AKA Habibi. And why should these women
Hey,
call you Habibi?
cause to my family I'm Gregory, and to them I'm a BB. What you mean?
Yes. So, welcome. I'm glad that I can finally have you on the show. I know you've been wanting to come up here for the past 12 episodes, but hey, 12 in, and here we are, officially. Now, you were supposed to be on my Christmas episode, but tell the people why you weren't, because you didn't want to share the spotlight with anyone.
Oh, that is right.
Mm-hmm.
That is right.
Had a bunch of guests come up, and you decided to opt out because I had guests on the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I
okay.
deserve my own episode with you.
Okay. That's
That's not debatable. That's a
nah.
fact.
I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna give it to you. And he's also host of the
Oh,
blank
indeed.
podcast. Yes, the
Oh,
O&D podcast,
indeed.
where he talks about
Hey, look, man, I talk about sports. I talk about I talk about life off and on the field, off the field, off the court, on the court. I talk about that. Sometimes dabble in politics a little bit. Me and my main man Gooch. It really just depends on what's going on, in the world, man. We talk about it all, but it's solely based around sports. And then we branch out from there. Because somehow sports and culture, entertainment, all of that has now been intertwined in such a way that, we can say, oh, we're just going to talk about sports. But today, LeBron James might say he supports Joe Biden. And tomorrow, Tom Brady might say, Tom Brady don't say nothing. Tomorrow, Tom Brady might put on a MAGA hat. So you never
right.
know, man.
Or
LeBron was
LeBron might
A&R
play
and
some.
albums.
Yeah, he might play some music during his Instagram live that you don't like.
Yeah, come
You
on,
might
man.
you might have some input on that.
And that's just it. But we solely based around sports. Me and my man Gooch,
Shout
my
out
my
Gooch.
my cousin DC, all of them, man. We really get into it. We do the little Facebook back and forth. My cousin Q. It's really just me and a bunch of my cousins that talk about sports. Shout out Ant, shout out Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
That's really just what we do, man. We talk about sports on Facebook, but a part of why I wanted to come on here was to help me jumpstart OND. And I ain't
Get
gonna lie,
inspired, basically.
I use you for a lot of that stuff.
Right.
When I made the logo for OND, I'm on the phone with you pretty much all throughout that day.
Mm-hmm.
I had to made some trash previously. I ain't even gonna say what it looked like. I made some trash previously, and then up until that point, I sat down one day, it hit me, and the creative juices got flowing, and the next thing you know, one thing led to another. And I
Mm-hmm.
had my logo, I made a beat for the intro, I did all of that by myself.
Right.
And you helping me and about to jumpstart this, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if they know like I know, oh indeed. Oh
Mm-hmm.
indeed. Yeah, inspired by Omar too. Inspired by
Yeah.
Omar Little.
Shout out Omar Little. Um. Oh yeah. By the way, we haven't talked much this week because I know that you had a hectic week. There were days that you did not call and berate me. So I just wanted to give you a quick homie check. How are you feeling now? Now that the week's over and it's Sunday, we're getting ready for a new week. How are you feeling?
Completely upset because I got to go back to work tomorrow.
Understandable. Understandable.
It would be so much easier selling drugs, but
Yeah. Wouldn't you like to be your own boss?
nah, not really.
Oh, you hate it?
Nah, but
Or do
see,
you
the
just like working for the man?
chill, bro.
Mm,
As a boss, you don't have as a boss, you don't even work for yourself. It's the peons that work for you. I'm playing, not the peons. It's those up under you that work for you. I've been a boss before. That's it's not hard to do.
right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like it's not fun. It's not always fun being a boss. I don't care what you say. Like
Right.
it's just not always fun being a boss.
So it's all about fun to you.
Nah,
Okay.
it's about being productive, moving forward. You like the YouTubers say, bro. It's about moving forward. It's about being productive.
As
All that
creatives,
all that positive BS they be spitting out.
we gotta stick together.
Man, forget all that, bro.
And don't do that, bro, because I was really gonna give like my mission statement for the podcast this episode
Oh, I'm sorry.
because I have yet to do that, and I didn't even think about it. But my mission statement is to make people happy, man. I don't want to come here and have any negativity going on. All that negativity is out of the door when it's either just me or my guests. I just want it to be positivity, be a great time. We have some interesting discussions for the listeners. I hope that the listeners can take what they can from me and understand that I'm not trying to do anything to hurt their lives. I'm just trying to make everyone better, put everyone in better situations, and just that's it.
I just hate the fact that you had me on when you gave your mission statement because
Because you're the reason why I started this thing, bro. You remember? Because nah, bro, don't do that. Because you remember, like, what was that? That was late 2019 when I was sitting around and I was like, bro, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. You said you should because you come on, you call me every other day when you go to the movies and give me a review about movies I don't care about.
That's a fact.
And you have a lot to say and you're very passionate about these films. You're like, yeah, you should have a podcast that can be your outlet. And I was like, it's a good idea. So what did I do? I bought a mic, I bought everything I needed, and I sat down and recorded for like 30 minutes
Mm-hmm.
because I was still kind of like, should I do this or should I not do it? But I sat down 30 minutes. I sent it to you. I sent it to my mom and a few other people, and they were like, yeah, I love it. This is nice. So I was like, okay, cool. So then I put out the first episode, and the feedback I got from that first episode just kind of like it made me happy in a sense because it's like boom, I started, like my foot's in the door. I have something, I have content out there, and it's basically immortal until I tell it to die. And I felt this kind of satisfaction within myself just because I knew that I sat down, I did it, I was happy with what I was able to put out, and people were happy with what I put out. So I was like, okay, let me just keep doing this. And then COVID happened, and movies weren't coming out as often, and I couldn't go to the movies as often. So there were a lot of breaks between a lot of my episodes last year, and I've already apologized for that. This year, I do want to be a little bit more focused on getting content out, as far as whether it's just me or me and my guests, and we sit around. And I've learned that I'm not going to just make this a just a film podcast. It's going to be much more than that. Like you see, just now, we literally just had a homie check, and that's what I want this to be, of course. Like I just want to check on you, make sure everything's all right. You know what I mean? And whether we talk about films or not, it just kind of depends on what's going on at that time.
But we're gonna talk about films because
Oh, 100%. That we have films to talk about now.
you know, I thoroughly enjoyed Judas and the Black Messiah, but
We'll get there. We'll get there.
you forced me to watch the little things more than once, even after I gave up on it. So we definitely gonna talk about
Yeah,
films.
we'll get there. But yeah, so with the Dom Trap, I hope that you guys are enjoying the listens and enjoying the shows. And um, thank you all for supporting me and everything. I do want to get some merch out eventually. As you can see, my shirt here says the Dom Trap. I do have designs in my head. I just need to get them out onto the computer, sent in, and somebody, you give me your sizes, and boom, bada bing, you're wearing my merch. So, without further ado, since I just got rushed into get into the topics of films, the little things.
It was a terrible movie.
Now, when I first heard about this movie, I said, okay, cool. We get a new Denzel flick, and it also stars Rami Malek and Jared Leto. So I said, all right, this is going to be nice. It's set in the 90s. It's a crime drama, thriller type of film. I said, some of these actors, they're good at those type of roles. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, granted, you haven't seen much with Rami Malek and Jared Leto, but you've seen a lot of Denzel movies that feature crime and that are thrillers.
Yes.
Now, I was really disappointed in this movie.
Call a spade, man. It was trash.
I won't say it was trash though, man.
That was a terrible movie.
I won't say it was trash though. And here's the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the plot could have easily just been done in like a TV episode. And that would have been a great episode.
That's a fact.
But here's the thing, the movie was overlonged. The movie is 2.5 hour longs. And me sitting there watching it, and about 20 minutes in, I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. And I predicted the movie by accident. And, those next 2 hours pass and the movie's over. And I'm like, what did I gain from this?
It was a waste of time.
Like, when you watch a movie, you want to be entertained and get to a finite ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you know it's going to be a sequel, you just have to be okay with that ending until there's a next one. But this one's a standalone film, and with every movie that you watch, you're hoping to get from point A to point B.
Now, don't leave out your biggest pet peeve because I wish I was paid for how many times I've heard there was no character development. Nothing developed. They were the same person from beginning to end. They didn't change. What was their purpose? They didn't do anything.
And you know that's what I think about this movie. Like, there's no setup to who these people are as people.
I mean,
I mean, I mean, they just they tell. Besides what they tell you,
all right, young cop. You got to give me what's young cop's name. I don't remember.
he's
I
played by
mean,
Rami Malek. I don't remember his name in the film, but
all
Rami
right,
Malek.
Playboy. Rami. You said
Rami, yeah.
Rami. All right, Rami. Um, Rami. If if we be honest, he had some development, even though it wasn't positive development. You
Right.
could you could see. I mean, when you met his wife, it's typical. When you met his wife, you could almost guess this movie that he was gonna turn into the bad guy, quote unquote. But when you met his wife and she said he won't let me move out of the city, and
Mm-hmm.
she's a teacher, you think about the dynamic. She's a teacher, he's a police officer. That's typical middle America type of stuff. The husband has, he's a detective, this prominent, respected in a sense position. People look to that position as a position of power. Even
Mm-hmm.
inside a police department, you look at the detective as a position of power. So,
Yeah.
you know, he's always in charge. What he says goes for the most part.
Right.
And, his wife let him dictate certain things. So you could already see, and he was this hot shot detective. I remember the
Young.
dude in Young, the dude in the office, the chief or whatever, when he said, you basically I took his spot. Is that what you're telling me? So it's a couple things at work. I mean, it's in that sense, it's almost like an old western where you got the young buck coming to town, and you don't push
You
the
got the
old
old
buck out.
bull on the other hand, and
Yeah, I mean, you got dynamics like that. But to
but
my
that's my
point,
thing with this movie. It's oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, to my point, you see him in a certain light.
Of course.
By the end of this movie, he's been stripped of all of that.
Yeah. He's just a man at the end of it.
Basically, he got stripped of everything that he held sacred, and the principles and morals that he stood on all got
Mm-hmm.
stripped away. And not only that, the chief also told him, don't get mixed up with Denzel, because he's been through the ringer.
And what's the first thing he do? Invites the man to go eat bagels at a
Come
diner.
on, dog. Come on.
But here's my thing with this character though, man. Like, of course, we have this young guy who's still pretty new with this higher position than a lot of other people
Mm-hmm.
that have been there, that are seasoned vets at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And you have this old boy that's working for a different place, right? But we know something has happened with him once he goes back, and people are like, "Hey, you're back here. What are you doing here? It's good to see you, I guess." You know
That's
what I
a
mean?
fact.
So it's like there's story there, but of course they just don't tell us what the story is right away, or they don't give us a flashback sequence right away. We find out later. Now, do you believe that it was decent payoff in that sense, or do you think that that was a waste of time as well?
Mm,
Because I want to say it was a waste of time.
I don't want to say it was a waste of time, because we did need we needed. I would have rather gotten. I'll tell you what would have been hard. I would have rather gotten a flashback, like one of them quick flashbacks where we see him at the scene of the crime,
Mm-hmm.
like the very first one, the very first girl he finds or has to start working, and then it fast forwards to him, let's say, working like in the police office late night, burning that midnight oil. Then the
Mm-hmm.
next part of the flashback is him either in open heart surgery after the heart attack, or him in the hospital. We don't
Yeah.
know what happened, we just know he in the hospital. Then the next thing you know, he in a courtroom, and the judge is slamming the gavel because his wife just got the divorce and kept the house.
Right.
And then you see him, the next time you see him, let's say it's his first day at the new police office that he got transferred to. Something like that.
Would have been a lot better.
I don't think, yeah, that like I said, I appreciate the flashback, but at the same time, I just think it was a terrible execution. It
Yeah,
could have been
because I mean, it was so late in the movie, I had stopped caring about a lot of stuff, and his past was definitely one of them. Because I mean, yes, the president is important, but when it comes to a film like this, where you have these people trying to track down somebody that's doing stuff to other people, like it's good to know what we're getting ourselves into. It's good to know who these people are, what their reason is for doing this. I mean, you talk to a lot of cops, they can tell you why they're a cop. But when we see these people, we're like, okay, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you so invested into this? We just don't know.
I see what you're saying.
So
I
it
see what
comes
you're saying.
across as them being forced to care about what's going on because, I mean, we don't know what they went through.
True.
Like I said, at the end, when we find out, it's like, oh, well, it's a little bit too late for that because I stopped caring 45 minutes ago.
That's a fact.
You
That's a
were too, you
fact.
were too busy antagonizing the man that you had no proof did anything.
Let's not do this. Let's not do this. He clearly did it. I mean, come
Did he
on,
though? They had
bro.
no
Don't
evidence.
don't do this, bro. Don't do
They had
this.
no evidence.
Don't do this, bro.
I'm just
You
saying,
talking
man. They
to
had no
you talking
evidence.
to the bad guy. Don't do
But
this.
that's the point of the movie, bro. It doesn't matter, right? Is that what the end tells you? That's what the end told me. The ending of that film told me that it just everything doesn't matter, and that's why I feel like the time was wasted.
But he did it though.
But did it matter if he did it or not?
In the end, no, because they. I mean,
That's the
your
thing,
your man
bro.
your man Rami off them. What you mean?
But he
There
did
was
it. He did
it.
it. He did it in rage. He did it with rage.
Nah, get out of here, bro. That
He did.
princess punch of a swing he hit him with. Ain't no way he gonna die. Now I understand it's a shovel, and hey, look, man,
He was shovels every day, b.
the way he swung that shovel, ain't no way it was gonna kill him. It might have gave him a
I thought it.
concussion.
That's what I was thinking when it first happened. I was like, oh, he's just knocked out. He's gonna get back up.
Yeah, a little lump or something, not kill
But then
him.
there was blood, and I was like, huh?
He didn't even hit him that hard.
Right.
See,
Then
that was that was trash.
then
I hated that part. But at the same time, I'm still not I'm not gonna stunt. It's old buddy just he relished in the fact that I'm play like, all right, bro, you know me, and we this low key, this can kind of lead into the to Judas and the Messiah. But old buddy was playing with them folks, man, and he was
yeah,
happy to do so.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was like, oh, I'm a huge fan of TV shows about stuff like this,
Yeah, come on, man.
and
He
that's
was
when I was
having a
like, he's about to
ball.
string them on. And
Yeah,
that's
he was having a
exactly what he did.
ball. I mean, just he was enjoying all that attention.
Just being
And
weird. On
bruh,
top of that,
so look. When I first started watching it,
yeah.
it was might have been about like it was a little after 8. So it's already dark,
Mm-hmm.
It's dark already. And it got to that point and I'm like, a little bit of a scary movie dynamic going on in here.
Right.
So, I loosen up a little bit, sit back, like, okay, something should scare me in a minute, ain't it? And he just kept being weird, and it ain't never go nowhere.
Right. Like I'm gonna drive down the highway and turn around because I see who it is. Then I'm gonna drive back down the highway. And I'm like, I get it. But like, bro, you gotta think about how long that scene was. It was like five
Bruh,
minutes of them
bruh,
chasing each other on the highway and losing each other.
playing cat and mouse.
Yeah. And then he pulls up to the man like, yeah, I see you, and
I
drives off in the other
I
direction.
completely did. I'm just like, what is this for?
Right.
He pulled up, he points at him, and then Denzel makes like he smiles at him. Then Denzel makes a straight face and he pulls off. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what's the point?
And you know what tipped me off
What's the
also
point?
about that scene, bro? The fact that it was that long, but you could tell like the driving was terrible. Like he would like turn around real fast, but he would like turn the steering wheel like this.
Yeah,
So
that was
I'm
kind of
like,
that was
this
terrible.
makes no sense. And there was another scene where he's making a turn, but he doesn't turn the steering wheel.
Hey man,
And it just took it stuff like that just took me out of the movie.
how is Denzel attaching his name to shit like this?
Right.
And young and Junior over here is cutting his teeth,
Oh,
balling out
he's
of
hitting the ground running.
control.
He's
Come
hitting the ground
on,
running.
man.
He's hitting it.
He one of them top three right now. I mean, hey, this is completely off topic, but
Mm-hmm.
we talked about this previously.
Yeah.
John
It's
David,
it's 5 in the game right now. It's 5.
Daniel.
Lakeith.
As much as I don't like you, man, I
Lakeith.
gotta throw him at Lakeith.
Yep.
And then you got
And
the
then
last two.
there's Adam Driver, of course. Adam Driver's been killing it for like the past 7 years.
Who that is? Cause I don't know.
He's Kylo Ren in Star Wars, but he was the other guy in Black Klansman,
Oh, okay, all
the
right,
the,
all
the
right,
the officer that had to fake be a racist.
all right. Yeah, got you.
Him and Robert Pattinson, who was in Tenet. I know you haven't seen Tenet.
You ain't got nothing
He
else?
was in the Twilight movies, but we don't talk about those here. He's gonna be the new Batman, and you saw that trailer, right?
No,
You didn't see the Batman trailer,
no.
and you call yourself a Bruce Wayne fan?
Christian Bale is my Batman.
Whatever, bro. We'll see in 2022. But
Christian
those are
Bale
my
is my
top 5.
Batman.
Robert Pattinson, Adam, in no particular order. Robert Pattinson, Adam Driver, Daniel Kaluuya, Lakeith Stanfield, and John David Washington.
Hey, John David out here. John David out here showing his ass, man.
Yeah. But I mean, back to the little things. I know we got off topic there, but we'll get back on.
Why are we still talking about this?
We have to give scores, man. So overall, I hope that this movie is just going to be interesting in the least. I mean, there were times where I was watching the movie and I was like, okay, I've had enough. And I would go on Twitter or something just because I just became bored. And you know what's funny about this movie, bro?
There's something funny about it.
Yes, it's something hilarious. You know how I love going to the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you that with this whole theaters and HBO Max thing, I said I'm still going to go to the theaters to watch these movies first,
Mm-hmm.
and then I watch them again on HBO Max. I woke up this morning and thought about the movie, and I said, okay, I haven't seen anything that like instantly told me that this is going to be a great movie,
Mm-hmm.
besides Denzel being in it. I said maybe I'll be all right if I just watch it at home. You know what I mean? So boom, 12 o'clock noon hits, and I put it on. By the time this movie was over, I was glad I stayed home. I was glad I did not give them my $7.88 for that ticket because I was unimpressed. I was bored. The pacing of the film just kind of just wasn't there for me.
It was
It's just
trash,
like
man.
it's just like a bunch of things just happened, and that was it. And I mean, if I had to give it a rating, it'd be a 5 out of 10.
Hey, you know something? It's
What's that?
good that people aren't paying attention to box office numbers like that right now. The
Mhm.
pandemic saved Denzel Washington on this movie
Think so?
because his name should have not been attached to anything like this. Like it was a terrible movie.
Could you
It
imagine
really was.
if the pandemic never happened and this movie came out in theaters?
It would have
What
flopped.
people would have said about it?
It would have flopped.
Yes.
From the trailer. I remember seeing the trailer the first time and I'm like, "Oh, this might be good. Like this look all right."
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen Denzel in a while either.
Right.
I mean, all right, it's ironic. So I'm looking at the screen of my MacBook right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my top left-hand corner is two guns and American Gangster.
Right.
Come on, man. Like we haven't seen Denzel in a while. And those two movies, even Two Guns being like an action flick,
Mm-hmm.
Denzel was still Denzel, man.
Yeah.
And
Same with Flight. I was talking about Flight with somebody last night. We
he was
love
still,
Flight.
bruh,
We love Flight.
a drunk pilot who a drunk pilot. Cause we not about to dive into
Yeah,
that.
like
Just a drunk
we're not gonna
pilot.
spoil it here. We might have
And
that. We might have that for another episode where we just
Denzel is a
get into the
drunk
dichotomy
pilot.
of Flight.
Come on, man. Come on.
And let me ask you a quick question though. I thought about this after I seen this movie. Do you remember Fences?
Yeah.
Did you love
Yeah.
Fences?
I did. Reminded me of me and my daddy. Straight
See,
up. Like not the dynamic of like, the outside kids and all of that, but just
right.
just a young man trying to come into his own his
But you
daddy not
have a father
necessarily.
that's like not having it.
Yeah, like he not understanding what you got going on and hounding
Hmm.
you out. I completely understood that.
Yeah.
Like that was great, bro. Seeing that play, like it was literally like watching bits and pieces of my own life on
Right.
YouTube.
Seeing your own arguments just portrayed in a more dramatic way.
Yeah, that was
And it's
that was
crazy how
great.
that movie's about something that happened years ago, but it's still super relevant today.
Hmm.
And it's gonna be
And
relevant
and
tomorrow.
not only that, man, it's something that I know a lot of black fathers 30 and under,
Hmm.
and a large majority of them do have girls. But if we just focus on the fact that you got to see a black father, even with his son, but you got to see a black father be a father, even
Hmm.
if he was doing it wrong. Like even if we didn't agree, I ain't gonna
He
say,
was there.
yeah, I ain't gonna say doing it wrong, but
Right.
if we didn't agree, like you said, he was still there. He was trying to be
Yes.
a father.
Right.
We needed to see that. I think that when that movie came out, 20 what, 17,
Ooh,
18,
yeah, 17 or 18, I believe.
we needed that, bro. We
Yeah.
needed that.
Yeah.
As black men, we needed
That
that.
was a crucial time too for black men,
Yeah,
especially. I mean, we're still living in crucial times, but it's good to have that on film.
that's a fact. That's a fact.
100%. Um, do you have a score that you want to give this movie
Out of 10,
out of 10? Yeah. A whole number.
give it a 3.
So, yeah.
Man,
So,
HBO Max taking that off my account, man. Like for real,
you want your money back?
bro. When they taking that off, like
I think they leave them on for like a month, I believe, something like that.
they need to go ahead and take the little things
It
off. It's
might be
wasting
off
time.
already, but
It should be.
I just I just couldn't believe that I sat there. I wanted to enjoy it, but it was just so much of a bore fest of a film.
I stopped watching it 3 times.
Like I said, I had to pull out my phone because I was like, this is unbearable. And it's 2.5 hours of this. Like,
Now imagine if you would have gave them folks $7 for that.
I'd be a little bit upset. I'd be a little bit upset. But
Ain't no
now
way.
let's go in another direction, a more positive direction, and we'll talk about our man, Mr. John David Washington, and his
Let's
film
let's let's
titled
go, man.
Malcolm and
Let's
Marie.
go. I like that toxic stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So when this movie was being filmed, I remember seeing the reports that it was being directed by Sam Levinson, who also directed the show Euphoria, which you haven't seen yet.
Nope.
And that show stars Zendaya. So I already know how their dynamic is, where she can do a great job just being a toxic person and not seeing anything wrong with her toxicity. Now, this movie was filmed like when everything was shutting down heavy. So that's what was funny about this. Is like, okay, y'all are filming a whole movie, and but they were like, no, it's really about two people. So we kind of knew what we were getting ourselves into. Then the title came up, Malcolm and Marie. So like, okay, it's legit two people. I was pretty sure there's going to be them in a house. Everyone's been tested. There's a small crew, and that's it. And that's exactly what it was. They went to a caterpillar house. It was super modern, by the way. I love the house. What do you think about it?
It was hard. It looked like something out of the 19, like it was modern, but
Mm-hmm.
just the way, like I don't know, it might have been the black and white theme, but
Yeah,
it
that and the
reminded
location
me,
that like nothing was around it.
yeah, it reminded me of like a house from the I say the 60s.
60s, yeah. And it was, of course, like on a hill, a super long driveway,
That's
no
hard.
neighbors, basically. No
It's
neighbors.
hard.
No fence or anything, just straight land with a caterpillar house on top of it.
It looked like it should be a room in there with a grand piano sitting in there that
Yeah,
don't never get played. You
right.
you you just you know what? Matter of fact, it's a grand piano in there,
Mm-hmm.
and you got the big glass ashtray sitting on top of the grand piano. See,
Mm-hmm.
man, look, man. You know my mind, and you know how I like fly shit. So
Of
in
course.
my mind, I could see I could see a perfect world. John David walk in that room, right? The grand piano, big black grand piano sitting there all shined up. The big
Mm-hmm.
glass ashtray sitting on top of the grand piano, and he walk in, got a scotch in his hand, big big gauge cigar sitting in the ashtray. It's just burning. He ain't even smoking it. It's just
Isley Brothers
burning.
playing in the background or
Come
something.
on, man. That's how you
It
come
makes
home
so
after
much sense.
a victory, bro. That's how you come home. But
And
nah,
that's what he wanted to do.
he come home and
But I mean, he was good when he walked in. Like, he was good. He played his music. He was dancing and everything. And then the camera cuts to her.
man, come on, bro. He
And
came home
she's,
and shouted, said, "You want macaroni and cheese?" Hey, look,
and it
I
wasn't
don't know
like,
no
it wasn't homemade macaroni and cheese.
man, bro. Not on. I
It
don't
was
know no black
Kraft
man.
macaroni and cheese, bro.
I don't know no black man that just eat macaroni and cheese. I don't know no black man that just eat macaroni and cheese and nothing else. You say, oh, I want some you want some macaroni and cheese? Yeah, you gonna make some chicken to go with that, or like, hey, you could get.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man,
Turkey or something.
I'm
Ham.
regular. Shawty could have gave me some chicken nuggets, some Tyson chicken nuggets out the bag with a little bit of macaroni and cheese and a Hawaiian roll.
Popping
I'd have
bad
been
boys in the air
straight.
fryer. I'd have been all right.
She talking about you want some macaroni and cheese and that's it. Come on, man.
I'm like, hey, you want to get your Uber now or later? Like, what's the deal? You ready to
Oh,
go? You
you
leaving?
you actually gonna give her an Uber after she
I'm a boot her out if I've just had the best night of my life. And you know how I feel about films and how I want to be a part of a film one day. But he legit just had the best night of his life. His mom's there. Everyone that he's up. He's up. And she's walking around straight face. You want mac and cheese? I'm saying, hey man, you gotta go. Like,
hey,
you gotta
not
go.
not only that now. I done had some good times in life, you know. When you come home off of a high
Yeah.
and and your lady is excited too, or let's say your lady got the straight face. She giving you that stale face. She got an attitude about something that you did, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she sees just how excited you are, and you go and you attempt to lick her, like not even it ain't you ain't did nothing else. You just
Right.
attempt to lick her, even with her attitude, bro. She gonna let you know what I mean. She gonna go ahead get into it. Might you know that argument still might come tomorrow. It might
Mm-hmm.
come after you get your rocks off, but she gonna go ahead and let you do your thing.
But not right after
Zendaya,
you had the best day of your life.
Zendaya, Zendaya stood there, ain't even get this man no cheap moan, no nothing, and he look up like, you don't want this?
Right.
You don't
Salted or
want it?
unsalted butter.
Come on, bro. What? Hey, look.
That's what I say.
But let's play devil's advocate here. I can see it from both
Sure.
sides. You
Yeah, of
know,
course. I think that's the point of the movie, though. Like, it's just to see it from both sides.
hey, that's the
Imagine
part that I
that you're with
hate,
your
bro.
significant other. They're having the best night of your life, and you get shunned at this event, and shunned in a way that it's personal, but
Yeah,
there's nothing that you can do about it
that's a fact.
until you get home. And of course, you probably sit in the car, just sitting there, living, and they're just dancing and having the best time of their lives, laughing, smiling, all this stuff, and you're like, huh, what did you mean by that? Oh, why did you mention me? What's the deal? Would
You
you
re-
like? Would you legit wait, or would you be like that night just say, hey, about that thing that you did or that you didn't do?
hey
What's
man,
up with that?
if it's one thing that I have learned from women, specifically my black queens,
Mm-hmm.
boy, you better communicate with them. If
Yeah.
you know, like I know, you better communicate. If 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 you done came home, you know, yeah, this the best day of your life and all of that, but you done came home and you visibly notice that your lady got an attitude. Hey man, look here. You better talk, boy. And if she
You
don't
better
feel
make it
like
right.
talking, if she don't feel like talking, you better shut up, go sit in the corner, wait for her to come, wait for her to cool off a little bit and see
Mm-hmm.
if she'll have that conversation with you. Cause boy, if you don't communicate, I clear for Lord.
Yeah,
God
that's gonna be the
bless.
end of it.
God bless.
But you know what I think my favorite part of that movie is? When after they argue and he sits down with this macaroni and cheese and he's like hounding over the table. He's like, you talking about I'm mediocre. I'm and he just starts screaming. and calling her names and just like being super duper disrespectful. And she goes, "Really, Malcolm? You're about to sit there, call me names while you're eating my macaroni and cheese?"
She called it her macaroni and cheese. That was Kraft
Right.
macaroni and cheese, man. Get out of here with
Exactly.
that.
And I was just like, yo, I don't know what I would have done in this situation. Say I cook somebody a meal and they disrespect me.
Hey, bro.
Bro, I'll go flip your plate on your face. Don't do that to me.
I ain't gonna say your face now. That's kind of disrespectful, but I
I'm
might
gonna be
I might
disrespectful
take
back.
it and throw it away or something.
No, I'm just gonna flip it.
Now you know though, like I wonder how many I wonder how many I wonder how many bowls of macaroni and cheese they had to make for all them scenes, bro. And you know they was all right there on location, so you know it smelled like macaroni and cheese in there too.
Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Bro, come
But here's the
on,
thing, bro. Like
man.
she had a big pot
A little
and he had a
box.
little bowl.
Come
So
on,
you
man.
know they were prepared to have maybe $10 worth of box Kraft mac and cheese.
Ain't no way, dog. Ain't no way. Ain't
But
no
it was just
way.
funny the way he was eating too. Like he was just eating it like it was like a good home cooked soul food meal or something.
You kept hearing the I wish I had a bowl and a fork close. Like you
Yeah,
kept hearing the
like the,
bowl,
the
like I mean the
mushing
fork
of
kind of ting
everything.
and it
Yeah.
ting the bowl every now and again. Come on, man. It was not that good.
Then you hear like porcelain bowl against wood from the table. But
I swear.
yeah, like when it came out, well, when it came out to those that were able to review it, I said I'm just gonna stay away from it. I said I want to watch it and have my own opinion about the movie. Did you do the same, or did you see any reviews prior to the movie coming out?
I didn't see any reviews per se. I just
Yeah.
got on Twitter and I just got on Twitter and was able to see people saying, "Oh, it's so toxic. Oh, it's so toxic. Oh, it's so toxic."
Mm-hmm.
But it like even then I'm still just like, okay, what makes this so toxic? Even when it first started, I still didn't. I ain't gonna say I didn't see how it was toxic, but like
Mm-hmm.
it started off as just like some petty
Yeah, like a
bickering.
petty
So
argument,
yeah,
and
so
then
I'm like,
later
how is
it
this
just
really?
progresses and progresses and progresses.
Hey, it got so cold
Then
at one point, man.
you get to the bathtub scene, and she's like, "Oh, that movie is based on my life." And he was like, "Your life."
See
uh,
that's where it took a turn for me, man. Cause
he was like, "That wasn't us in Barcelona. That was my ex chick Kiki. We were in New
bruh,
York." I was like,
bruh,
like, should I be seeing this right now, or
I could be
what's the
real
deal?
disrespectful, but even that was just you don't do that,
No,
man.
and he did it.
He really went. I mean, that oh yo. Ho. Before we go too far,
Yeah.
we gotta pay homage again because it was at certain points. It
Mm-hmm.
was so much dialogue in this movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. It was just them talking.
Yeah.
But tell me you couldn't hear those moments where John David sounded like his daddy.
Yeah.
Boy,
Definitely.
John
Definitely.
David sounded too much like and it was only at certain points.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say this,
It was
but
the same thing with Black Klansman too.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they were. I mean, but what do you expect? Like he's seen his dad act for basically all of his life.
Forget acting, bro.
Just being, of course, like that, and just being around him.
This man could just walk in the house and be Alonzo from Training Day, bro. Like
Exactly. Like you never know. He probably never knew what he was gonna get.
that's
Been
crazy.
seeing
But
parts of his dad in these movies, and with him, of course, probably studying to be an actor one day. He was like, okay, I'm gonna take the knowledge that I had from my dad, and then add that to whatever I have going
man,
on in
bro,
the
I know
film.
you done seen where my man said, yeah, my dad was a construction worker, or
Yeah,
you know,
like
what I
he
mean,
was on drugs. Like
he lying.
yeah,
So it's just
so he could
that,
get the jobs from his own strength.
and it's like obviously he is that good. If
Mm-hmm.
he reached a certain level before people even knew that he
Yeah, he was on
was
Ballers. I didn't even
yeah,
know who he
like
was when he was on Ballers. But
exactly.
even on Ballers, I was like, yo, this dude is good. And I was like, who is he? And I looked him up, and I found out he was Denzel's son. I was like, yo, the fact that people are not, one are not watching Ballers, two do not know who he is, and three do not know that he's Denzel's son. I like it's going to be interesting to see how this guy's future goes. But I
I'm
mean, and
sure.
now after Black Klansman, he basically just blew up. And
That's a
here we
fact.
are, where
That's a fact.
granted, yes, he's Denzel's son, but he has the catalog behind his name with things like Ballers and things like Black Klansman and Tenet, and now this, where it's like, oh, he can stand on his own 2 feet as an actor now.
Hey, he
He's in
on
that
deck,
top five
man.
list, and
He,
he's on that top five list because of him,
he on
not
deck.
his dad's name.
He on deck. Somebody, some I need to see him. Nah, I ain't even gonna say that. I ain't even gonna say that. He on deck. He on
Yeah.
deck. I'm gonna keep that to myself. But he on deck. Somebody need to
Mm-hmm.
put him in something good. If
Yeah.
if uh if if they giving if they giving O'Shea Jackson these opportunities, which I rock with O'Shea,
Yeah.
because
Love
he
O'Shea.
can truly act. O'Shea Jackson Jr. can act.
I don't know
But
if you see Ingrid Goes West, but he had a small role in that movie, but he came into his own. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
Like when you
mm-hmm.
see him, you were like, oh, you weren't like, oh, this is Ice Cube, son. You're like, oh, this is O'Shea. And
Even
it
in Den
came
of
it came
Thieves,
off hot off of I think it might have been Den of Thieves. Like this Ingrid Goes West came out like right after. He's like, oh yeah, he can act. He's there. Like he
he
brings his
perf-
own thing to the movie.
he performs.
Yes.
He good at what he do, and
Right.
he's another one of those kids that, I mean, for whatever it's worth, Ice Cube is low key. He's in he's in the movie world. He's into
Mm-hmm.
film and not necessarily television,
I
but
mean, he has his own film studio, Q
Q
Vision.
product. I was about to say Q Vision,
Yeah.
and seeing stuff like that as a kid, as a youngster. I mean, he been watching that since Friday. That was in
Mm-hmm.
'95. So he grew up around that. Same John David Washington was saying, yeah, he's my dad's a construction worker, but at the same time, he was either near or around those sets. He saw this his whole life.
Right. It's not like he was completely absent or they
Yeah, so
pushed
I
him
mean,
out.
what I mean. These boys, and they done watched and studied, and now they getting shots to actually put this into action.
Yeah.
They they
100%.
they getting their shots to put this into action. I rock
Yeah.
with it, but uh, my favorite moment out of Malcolm and Marie
Yeah.
was it was closer towards the end when John David was pissed off at the movie producer or the director. He was pissed off at
Oh,
somebody.
the woman that reviewed the movie,
Yeah, the
and
reviewer.
he was like,
So,
who was she to say this? Or who was she to say that?
bro, I been there.
And
I
the
been
thing
there.
is, bro, like it was a positive review, but
Right.
he was super critical because we're all critical about what we put out.
I'm
Like
telling
I
you.
was saying earlier, I was critical about my podcast when I first, why are you closing your eyes?
Because
Anyway,
because that first time, hey, look, man, that first time that you said good evening, good morning, good afternoon, I was like,
bro,
who
I
does
have
he
an
think
intro.
he is right
I
now,
have an
bro?
intro.
I ain't got no intro.
I'm your
That's
friend that
the
has an intro.
I ain't got no intro. That's the intro.
Okay, that's
You feel me?
good
I
for
ain't
you.
got no intro. That's the intro.
Good for you. We're in different leagues. But anyway,
You right. You
back
right.
back to the film. Um, I think that some of my highlights are the acting, of course. I think that the
Yeah.
cinematography was great. Just the way
Yes.
some of the shots were like filmed. For
They
example, when he goes outside after the argument and he's like throwing his fists around, and you're like, yo, he's just like literally in a field of desert and dry grass, just throwing his
at,
arms out.
at night. At
Right.
night.
And it's filmed in black and white,
So
but
good.
you can see everything. And then the music, of course. When they have their argument, he plays "I Forgot to Be Your Lover," and
Oh
she's
man.
outside smoking a
Look, look,
cigarette.
look here, bro. I went because I hadn't heard that song in so long.
Yeah.
I jumped on Spotify. I'm like, I know I got it in here. I know I got it in here. I keep scrolling. I find it.
Mm-hmm.
It was on repeat for a solid 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, because it's just one of
Maybe
those
longer than
songs.
that. Cause I'm like, hey, look, it's different. I know I keep going back to this. Black women, I love y'all. Y'all get on my nerves, but I love y'all anyway. But I kept going back and thinking like you can't just work and expect that to be it. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
you working, you bringing home that bread, but that's not enough,
Right.
bro. And Malcolm and Marie epitomized that. Like John David Washington's character was, he out there, he working, going hard and he just put out this movie and it's excellent, it's great,
Mm-hmm.
but he not in tune with his woman enough. You
Right.
know what I mean? And then even to take that a step further, when I know for me, when I thought Shawty was tripping out on him, and she got the butcher knife to his neck and all of that,
Oh
I
yeah,
thought for
and on the
sure he was
floor and
out of here.
everything.
I'm like, they said this movie was toxic. They didn't say she was gonna kill him.
Right.
And then out of nowhere, he on the ground looking like Marie, Marie, and she
Mm-hmm.
like, that's acting.
Right.
And
I
then
was
he
just
like,
playing.
bro, come on, man.
You're like, why
Like,
didn't you do that in the audition?
if you know your woman, if
Right.
you really know your woman, you know she was acting, but you ain't
Right.
know that though. That
Exactly.
see, stuff like that. But that
Highlight.
song epitomized that movie though,
Yeah.
because he truly did forget to be her lover. He was just low key. He was just a provider. He was a she was a project that he was
Mhm.
working on, is what it amounted to.
Yeah. And that's what he told her.
And he got a chance to share his results. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
I hated science in school, but I still remember, you stage the experiment, you do the experiment.
Yeah.
After that, you write down your results and then you interpret the results.
The entire scientific method, bro.
My man basically got to the point where he could interpret his results.
Mm-hmm.
That's trash, dog.
It is, but
Oh man.
and I mean it's so cool, bro, because it's like this movie had like no introductory scrolls or anything. It didn't
Mm-mm.
say, "Hey, this is Malcolm and this is Marie." It didn't have any of that. It didn't have any narration. It was just pure dialogue. You were with these characters over a span of like maybe 4 to 5 hours, but it was shrunken down
Yeah.
to an hour and 45 minutes for our minds, I guess you could say, because we live in such a
And
popcorn
you know
culture at the
what's
time.
you know what's so crazy about that though?
What?
Is that you could feel like hour one, hour two, hour three,
Yeah,
hour four. Like you could feel the time dragging along. It's like, yo, they've been doing this forever. Like,
yeah.
why
And
is
then
they
you look
still
at the clock
arguing?
and you look at your watch, and it's only been 30 more minutes, and it's like, yo,
Bruh,
uh,
that was perfect. That was
right,
perfect. That was
right,
perfect. That's a testament to the movie, low key.
yeah, and the directing and
Mm-hmm.
the writing,
The
most and
editing.
foremost, yeah.
Think about
And then
think
of
about
course,
how
just
much.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you got it.
Think about how much. Think about how much they probably actually filmed. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no way you got this much talking and they ain't freestyle a lot of this. I ain't even
Yeah,
say a little bit. They freestyled a lot of this.
yeah.
So
I would love to figure out or see or read some kind of article about how much of this was improv,
yeah,
because you know that you see that there's improv.
I'm telling you,
And the
like they
fact that
got
they
it.
were just able to bounce off of each other with that same energy is just another testament to the movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they're acting. And
Yeah,
they're acting. Like John David Washington, we put him up there.
yeah.
Zendaya,
Well, you haven't seen enough
she
of her, so I
she
can't.
she came she came out to me in this. I mean,
Yeah,
I
you,
I
you should
res-
definitely watch Euphoria.
I respect it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I respect it. Love and respect to you, Queen. But I'm not up on her.
Watch Euphoria, and your thoughts will change.
You gonna keep saying that. And
You
I'm
should.
gonna keep telling you no.
Well, that's on you then.
Hey bro, you know
That's
me
on you.
better than that, man. I'm just gonna keep telling you no. That's
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 on you.
that's really what it amounts to. I'm gonna just keep telling you no.
Mm. Anyway, overall, I'd give this movie an 8 out of 10, just because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But by the end of it, it had an ending, unlike the little things. And you get from point A to point B. But granted, in this movie, you go from A to 8.5 to 8.7, then back to 8.3 because things kept getting brought back up, and it all wrapped up with a nice, pretty little bow.
Chill,
Wouldn't
bro.
you say?
This man said with a pretty little bow.
Yeah,
Nah, I would give it an 8. I would give it an
yeah.
8. Like I don't know what the perfect movie is to me. Um, I really don't know what the perfect movie is to me because it really depends. I mean, my favorite movie all time. I mean, this is a film podcast. My favorite movie all time is Scarface. I watch Scarface at least, once a month, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
once a week, depending on the rut that I'm in or how I feel, I might watch Scarface once a week,
Mm-hmm.
maybe more. But to me, it's almost perfect.
Yeah.
Some people gonna say, "Oh, that's trash. It's a trash movie, or it's just stereotypical." Nah, that movie is almost perfect to me.
Yeah.
Um, The Godfather 2 is almost a perfect movie to me. But then again, you know that I like that kind of stuff.
Right.
Those are like perfect movies to me. If we step outside that lane, um,
You love the Dark Knight.
that's like a perfect movie to me.
Mm-hmm.
Heath Ledger was perfect. I mean, there's nothing more that he could have done. Like it was it the movie cost the man his life. It was
Right.
that good. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing else you could do.
Yeah. It was just the writing of the film that took his life.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
read the script and was like, "Yo, this is yeah." Then
He
he had to
embraced
go
it.
in and act it out. It was just too much on him.
I think this is the perfect segue to go over into Judas and the Black Messiah and talk about your boy Lakeith.
Yeah.
Um,
I want you to repeat after me. I am.
a revolutionary.
I said repeat, but yeah, you can continue. A
I am
revolutionary.
a
I
revolutionary.
am.
I am a revolutionary. I ain't
And
gonna die in no car wreck.
yeah,
I
go
ain't
ahead,
gonna
finish
die
it.
slipping on no ice.
Yeah, go ahead.
He killed that, bro. He killed that. He
And
killed that for real.
it's just crazy how it's not really crazy. But the man said, I might die for this, but my people will be in a better place because of it.
You know
He
what's even
said
crazier? You know,
he told them, if I die, that doesn't mean that the revolutionary will die. Well, the revolution will continue after my death.
you can kill
Don't
a revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution.
he told them, don't give up if I lose my life. Right?
Sadly enough, a lot of them gave up.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem that we have as a people. That's a big problem that we have.
Yeah.
Um, if you think about if you think about the hits that revolution or the movement took when Malcolm died and then when Martin died, and
Mm-hmm.
how it discouraged people, but at the same time you got somebody like uh my man Andrew Young,
Mm-hmm.
who kept going but pivoted in a sense. He pivoted to different things that still furthered black people, but it was just not in the same vein as necessarily being on the front lines, because there wasn't a front line to report
Yeah.
to
It
at
wasn't
that
anything.
point.
Right.
It wasn't nothing going on. And I think the same thing happened with Fred Hampton, to where at the end of the movie it tells you that um his the mother of his child remained a Black Panther until the dissolution of the party
Mm-hmm.
in 1960,
80 something, I believe.
68, 69. She remained a constant presence up until that point.
Right.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's sad, man. Like
And we said 60s. That's
the
wrong. It was the 80s, I
it
think.
was the 80s. That's
I
yeah.
think 88 or something like that.
Yeah.
But either way, that's terrible. That's still terrible.
The government they were that afraid of a 21-year-old man
Don't even say a
and
man,
a
bro.
group
Don't
of
say a
20.
man.
No, I'm just saying they were afraid of him. They were afraid of him.
Nah, they were afraid of a
But
21-year-old kid, bro. He was a kid. If we keep it G, he was a grown man, yes.
yeah,
But
that's what I'm saying.
like
But
like
I mean,
like that,
to a lot of them and people that he had reach out to, he was a kid, of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
and
was he was
they were just that afraid that they could lock him up, which is what they did when they didn't last for much for long like they expected it to. What did they have to result to? Assassinating this man just to stop him.
you know what's crazy though?
Hmm?
I got a twisted mind, but you know, uh Malcolm Malcolm was assassinated with like 3 bullets. I
Yeah,
think he was hit like the 3 bullets. It was 3 specific bullets that killed him.
yeah,
Um Martin, depending on which story you believe, was assassinated by one bullet. Um, Neither one of these were necessarily from close range. Fred low key might have already been dead and got shot in the head. Like, bro, that's great.
Twice.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Not
twice.
once, but twice.
Twice at that. That's crazy, bro.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And the fact that Deborah she can still recall like what they said, which was, what did they say? Something close to, now he's good and dead.
Yeah, yeah. That is right. That is right.
And it's like, it was basically a hit. No
Yeah.
matter which way you look at it, these are clearly hits because you have these old, rich, white people that want things to go to the way that they have the power to go. And you have these young and old black men
Mm-hmm.
that have their own visions for how they think that things should go. It's like, oh, I don't like their ideas, or I don't like that they're basically unionizing and gathering all these different types of people to stop us. Let's stop them before they even get the chance.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was
And of course, that would definitely put fear in the people that were close to these people, like the Black Panthers that were, still at it. They were like, oh, that could happen to me or my family. You know what I mean? So it's understandable that these people were terrified and they got out, basically.
hey, two things, bro. Two things. The first one, just
Yeah.
to piggyback off of what you just said, in reference to, them saying, "Oh, I don't know if this if it happened to them, it could happen to me."
Mm-hmm.
Um, think about. I think his name was Willie Palmer. I know the last name was Palmer, but
Jimmy Palmer.
Jimmy Palmer. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
My fault. You think about him,
Yeah.
the way my man died. Like he walked in the store
He was
and
like, leave my people alone.
they said no, and I mean he took two bullets. It's like something that we talked about before that I
Mm-hmm.
know would piss people off, but in a sense of, the climate. He knew the climate
Yeah.
and he knew what he was
He
about to
he
get
was in the
into.
climate.
That's a fact.
Right.
That's a fact.
He was a participating member.
Took two shots, didn't die. Knew he could get shot, but I mean,
He took the
even
chance
beyond
anyway.
that, he shot a cop. He shot
Yes.
two cops.
Yes.
You got a death
And he
sentence,
was hospitalized.
and the cops got to guard you technically.
And they still killed him while he was
You
hospitalized.
you asking for a death sentence, my nigga? He knew that.
He
He
knew.
knew it, but he
He
didn't
was willing
care.
to die for the cause.
Um, what's my man name? The young boy. Fred was at his mama house.
Oh, you talking about the guy that Al G. Smith played? I know you're
Yeah, I
talking
can't think.
about. I can't remember his name either.
I can't think of his real name.
Yeah.
But him, like, you went over there to get answers you went over there to get answers that you already knew.
Yeah.
This is the first thing. He called the cops. Technically, you got time to run,
Mm-hmm. But what
but
did
you
he do?
but you don't.
Right.
And then even after he had the cop on the ground hit, pleading for his life, you still
You
finish
still
him
pulled the
off.
trigger. Yeah.
I mean, you could have dipped. You could have ran.
But he was just full of resentment and
It's
hate
like,
at that point.
yo, I gotta do this. That was the first thing. The second thing is something that me and you've been talking about, like just based up from last year. I mean, the climate that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Who is our Fred Hampton? Who is gonna be the face? Because you got people like you got you got people like Killer Mike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mike is a man after my own heart because he's anti-establishment to the core. But if this is the only way that I can progress, is
Mm-hmm.
actually being of the establishment in a sense. I mean,
Right.
I have to throw my hat in this ring. I have to vote. I have to go to these town halls, these meetings. I gotta participate
Yeah.
in order to progress. I know that, so let me do that.
Yeah.
It's crazy how we don't necessarily have that figure
Right.
in today's time. Like,
And even with him doing what he does, there's still our people that like, I don't know about all that.
yeah,
I think he's doing too much. Black owned everything. I don't know about that. I like my Kellogg cereal still. Like
yeah,
it's crazy how people are so fast to just kind of downplay when a fellow black man is trying to basically make our people have a voice,
exactly, bro. Exactly.
because a lot of our people are just afraid to speak up.
That's the thing. I mean, even for me, I told my daddy, like,
Yeah.
whenever the protesting and all that started up here, and it's different from back home. Like, back home, you're not gonna see, crowd of like 5,000-6,000 people, maybe even more,
Right.
marching down a city block, or a street. You're not gonna see that back home.
Right.
But up here, like, they protesting hard and carrying their signs, and
Yeah.
they weren't rioting, but people were still getting arrested
Yeah.
just for
Just for
being
speaking.
there. And that's my thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't wanna be a part if I'm not gonna be a part.
Right.
And it's not, I support best way I can, but as far as actually being out and in it, it's like, yo, if I go out here and I really do this, who gonna and I get locked up, or worst case scenario,
Who got you?
so yeah, like, who gonna pay my bills? Who gonna
Right.
take care of me? Like,
Right.
when you think about the Harry Belafontes, and even go so far as to say Sam Cooke, the
Mm-hmm.
brothers who had the bread and supported people like Malcolm, and who supported people like Malcolm and Martin, and made sure that they had, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
both of those brothers died broke.
Yeah.
If we be honest, they died broke and shouldn't have. I I
It's
I,
scary.
I can't go out like that, bro.
It's scary, bro, and
I ain't
that's
got no kids or nothing like that, but
right.
still, no kids, no wife to support. But it's like, yo, when I leave here,
You want to leave a mark.
I want to make sure
You
that,
want it all to be for something.
yeah, like,
And it's just that fear of, the probability of you going out protesting, something happening, you get locked up, you don't know what's going to happen to you. It's just that fear of like, man, what did I do this for? Like, what did I leave? Did I leave a stamp? Is anything
who
going to
who
happen while I'm
who
when I'm gone? What's the deal?
who gonna come get me out?
Right.
Like, for
I
real,
mean, you
like,
all the way over there. I mean, I can't do much on my end. I mean, put money in your books, but
hey, could they don't, if you went, so I've heard, I don't know, somebody might be able to debunk this story, but from what I've heard, you get locked up in New York City if you want to, cuz that you can't dial no number outside of New York. So I'm
yeah,
already messed up, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
you already
Like,
messed up.
Gooch, I don't know Gooch number by heart. My
Right,
aunt and my uncle that live up here, the few people that I'm close, I don't know their numbers by heart.
right.
Come on, bruh.
Phew.
But I don't know. That's just it, man. Like, hey, I am
Revolutionary.
revolutionary. That's
You know what's
hard,
funny though?
bro.
Like, remember, I told you that prior to this movie, I didn't know everything about what happened with this story. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I knew just kind of the basics. I knew who Fred Hampton was. I knew who Mark Clark was, but I didn't know what Mark Clark's involvement with everything that had to go on with Fred. I had no idea that he was from another chapter,
Yeah,
and he had just come to that area. And the fact that he lost his life there along with Fred is like, whoa.
it's crazy, bro. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
like he went out of town. He went to go see his people, and yeah, he lost his life.
Almost like a
It's
wrong
like
place at the wrong time.
exactly that's what I was about
Even
to
though,
say.
even though it was the right place, like, he should have been. He should
Yeah,
have been with Fred at that time.
yeah. And then I mean, just the fact that I didn't know much about the lawsuit that went on for 12 years,
Bro, that was so trash. That was
and
so
they
trash.
sued for what was it, $44.7 million, and they settled for 1.47 million after 12 years.
Come on, man.
That's terrifying, bro. And just I mean,
It's not a.
I can't even imagine the pain that their families had to go through because of you know because of the assassination. And the events that followed.
Yo, do you really think that William O'Neal committed suicide after that interview?
I think so. You know why I think so? Because the people knew who he was. They knew. The fact that he went on PBS as himself after all those, and here's another thing I was about to get to. He went on for years being somebody else to save his own behind. He went to the feds. He looked up to Buddy. What's Buddy's name? Um,
Roy.
yeah, he eventually looked up to him. You could see like when he went to his house, he's like, "Oh, you got a bunch of nice stuff."
Hey, how much money you
You
make, man?
right, like stuff like that. He looked up to him, and considering how young Bill was at the time, that's understandable. You have this black man that's making his living by being a car thief, coming in contact with the feds that have things that he doesn't have. So he's like, "Yeah, I want to be like y'all. I want to be rich and wealthy and wear
He
sunglasses
wanted to be
inside."
a cop too, though. I
Right.
mean, that was a good little front, but
Yeah.
my man, let's call a spade a spade. You wanted to be a cop.
Yeah. And like I said, just after the interview, people would know who he was. I think that he probably sat in the car before he left and was like, "Yeah, this is well, probably that night that it aired, he was like, "Yeah, this is gonna bring me a lot of attention." He probably feared for his life because, like I said, you said, he wanted to be a cop, but he was a Black Panther at the same time.
Playboy,
So you
playboy,
have your own people, the black people, and then you have the feds that are all looking at you different, like, you're not for me, then you're also not for them. So he was probably just terrified.
playboy.
What
Them folks took him out, man.
you think they did?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ain't no doubt in my mind. They took him out.
I think he took himself out. But
Nah,
why do you think they took him out?
they took him out, man.
Why do you think that?
My man Roy said, "Don't nobody know that you're that you're my informant. They know I have a person
On the
uh,
inside.
on the inside, but they don't know that you're my informant." Right?
Meanwhile, he goes to the bar and runs in a
Nah,
little rail.
I ain't even going. That Lil Real did such a good job.
He
I ain't
did.
even gonna do that though. I ain't even gonna go there. What I'm gonna point at is he said that, and then what probably was maybe 2 or 3 days later
Mm-hmm.
when he went to the bosses and they're like, we need to use O'Neal in a different manner. They knew who he was.
Right.
And not only that, they know everything already.
Of
Off
course.
the top, they know everything.
Of course.
So you telling me when William O'Neal went to PBS and said, "Yeah, I want to tell my story. I want to tell what I know." You think that PBS ain't reach out to the FBI like, "Hey, we wanted to see if anyone can comment on what William O'Neal is saying. He's saying that he was a Black Panther and infiltrated the Black Panthers and he helped get Fred."
Guys, is this true?
Come on, bro.
Because it's PBS, man.
PBS had to go do some homework. When them folks found out that PBS was about to have him up there, okay, what day is he coming? Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what time is it airing? Okay, all right.
I'm pretty sure they
Um,
recorded everything. Once they edited it, they sent it to the feds, and the feds were like, "Yeah, what he's saying
we
is
gotta
true."
we gotta get rid of this nigga.
Right.
So what
They
they
just
did?
they waited till the day it aired
Come
to
on,
take
bro.
him out.
Put it out there. It's just, I mean, when you think about it, just so it's not all black.
Mm-hmm.
Just so it's not all black. We knew or we know who killed JFK.
Mm-hmm.
We know these things. It's public knowledge. If we want to go back a little bit further,
We know who killed Abraham Lincoln.
it's public knowledge, my man. Like, come
Yeah,
on. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you want to put that out? Okay, fine. I mean, we've been the bad guys before. We can be the bad guy again.
they'll get
We
over
killed
it.
we killed Martin. We killed Malcolm. They'll be all right. If they'll
Yeah,
kill two of their own,
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, yeah, you go ahead and let it air. That's fine. Thank you so much. And then as soon
Mm-hmm.
as that phone hung up, it's like,
Get them.
so you going to get them, or I need to do it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's really one of those
Yeah.
things. But for me, I felt disrespected when the interviewer asked William O'Neill, "What would you tell your son, or what would you tell any person?" And
Yeah. That was a
he's
little.
like, I was a part of the struggle." I'm like, brother, number one, at the end of that, they said that he made equivalent back then
What? two hundred
two
thousand
hundred
dollars?
thousand. Bro,
Yeah.
200,000 a day is a comfortable life. I ain't saying you rich, you wealthy, like you
You
good.
got enough to get what you need.
You comfortable, you
Yes.
good,
Yeah.
especially if you live in the hood. Like,
Oh
you
yeah.
give me 200,000, give me 200,000, and I'm back home, bro.
Yeah. Like
I'm
the scene
I'm
when he came inside to go talk to Roy and he had his shades on and his brown jacket and
Come
he was
on,
like,
man.
"Yeah, what's up?"
He's straight,
Then he
and
gets
they get
asked.
they gave him a car.
Yeah. And Roy's like, "Hey, give us the layout of his apartment." And you just see immediately like he's like, "Hold on." Then you hear he's going to prison. And he was like, "Yeah, I know, but I still need this layout." And
Gotta
like
get
that
rid of him.
scene, like I legit had to like stretch a little bit because I got uncomfortable, bro. Like seeing him like be like, man, I'm legit defeated at this time. Like I've I've dug myself into this hole that I can't get out. So I have to listen to what this man tells me to do and do what he tells me to do.
Hey, man,
Yeah. It's
he
like you just seen him just get backed into a corner and it's tragic. It's super tragic. But I mean, like I said, he dug himself that hole.
look, he did such a good job though.
Yeah.
As much as I'm not a fan of
I just have one complaint about his performance though.
what.
The scene where he's like in the apartment on the steps, and he was like, "Yeah, we found out that so and so was the Fed. Yeah, we had to kill that man." He was like, "Yeah, yeah, that brother, man, that old sucker. Yeah, I'm glad he's dead." And I think that part was
Boy, you lucky I
it was
wasn't there.
overacted. Yeah, like I was
Lucky I
like,
wasn't there. I would have shot him, and I
"Yeah, I
would
would
have
have
beat
killed
him.
him too. Yeah, I'm glad y'all did that to him." And
That was
like,
kind of trash. Kind
yeah,
of trash.
see, that was really my only complaint. Like everything
That was
else
kind of
was
trash.
great.
He did a good job though. I mean, he really did. Like he
Yeah.
and I watched I think it was on Sway. I watched the other day where they interviewed everybody.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm lying. Or am I? It was one of them. No, it wasn't Sway. It was something else that Daniel Kaluuya was on. But he was saying, you know, Lakeith. It was the Breakfast Club. Daniel Kaluuya was like, Lakeith made the biggest sacrifice
Yeah.
because that's not him at
Mm-hmm.
all. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't being typecasted for a role. I would think makes that role easier. You know what I mean? If you were casted to be a black dude from Easley,
Yeah.
you could do that. Like that's you really not gonna have to act too much.
Right.
But if you are
A young
pro
black
black,
chap from the UK.
chill, bro. If you casted if you pro black and then you basically casted to be Judas. I mean, that's tough. And to
Yeah,
do a good job at it.
you'd have to dig in and find something that you know is not you. Then on top of that, having to study other Judases in
And
life.
you know what's crazy too, bro? You
What?
know what's crazy too? For for you to do that and then like you do the movie, right? You do
Mm-hmm.
the movie and it's like all these challenges and stuff going on the internet, and you know how Lakeith had to poison Fred Hampton,
Fred. Yeah.
and he had to put the poison in the drink. And then you remember like just 2 weeks ago they was doing the if I was a bad secret agent challenge where they put in the like fake they put in
Yeah. I
whatever
don't know
in like
if I was a bad hitman. He put sugar in the water and
and
lick it, and
spin it and then you fall out like
yeah.
bro.
And then watching this is like,
That's so crazy. How the timing lined up like that, like that's
Yeah.
crazy, dog.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And like even at the same time, though, I saw something where I think it might have been that same interview where Daniel Kaluuya was like, Lakeith struggled a lot of days because it's like, yo, I gotta
Yeah.
in 30 years, right? I maybe even more than 30 years. The dude that gotta play Takashi 69. It's something to think about.
Yeah.
The in 30 or 40 years,
I mean, but that
the
also depends on the state of social media, the state of the world, the state of how this his story plays out, basically.
that's true. But I mean, at this point, there's no way to redeem that. The same way with William O'Neal.
Yeah.
He could have went on to I don't even know. He could have went on to cure cancer or something, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't no coming back for him. Like there was no coming back whatsoever.
Yeah.
That was etched in stone already.
Yeah. He didn't have anyone on his side, no one to run back to because I mean he burned bridges on both sides.
Right, right.
So he was basically stuck.
That's like
But
old buddy that old buddy that ah old buddy that
yeah.
he when they was in the hall with the crowns and
Yeah.
when they was in the hall with the crowns and buddy was like, so that yo that's the nigga that and I mean that dude he slapped foul that nigga dog.
Right.
He slapped foul like you ain't supposed to speak out of turn. He's like, but that's the
Exactly.
dude. He was like, he looked at him like, you still talking?
Yeah.
That's different, bro. Like,
Yeah. And then also, I mean, that's such a that just proves how good all the performances were.
yeah, yeah,
Like besides that weak point with Lakeith, I mean Daniel, Dominique Fishback, who was Deborah, Al
she
just
did a good job.
everyone, the extras, the Steele, the dude from Atlanta I was telling you about, that played
Yeah,
Tracy, like they all did a great job. And it's like they acted like someone said, "Hey, this is gonna be the last thing that you're in. Show the people why you're an actor." That's what they acted like.
that chick that played Deborah did like
She was phenomenal. Dominique
she
Fishback was
was
phenomenal.
she was
It
like
was
she
it
did.
was it was believable.
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine some of the women I know doing that in real life.
No, not at
You know
all.
what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like I see y'all in such a great light. Like I know how strong y'all are. I know some of the stuff that y'all been through,
mm-hmm.
but my man stood on stage and said that he was gonna die for his people.
And everyone else is cheering around her, but she has
She
this somber
tears in
look on
her
her face, and
eyes,
she
bro, because
cries. She
she knew
knows. She
he
knows.
he is gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
He is gonna die, and he gonna die for y'all.
Right.
But at the same time, cuz
She
I
was
got a
pregnant with
kid
his
on the
child.
way.
Yes.
He ain't gonna get to be a daddy.
Right. It
That's
just
tough.
yeah,
That's
and
tough,
that just
boy.
makes the entire film and the story just that much more impactful
Mhm.
because it's like imagine that happening today
It's hard to believe.
with the
It's
way social media is and the way the entire age is. Just imagine.
it, that's one part that kind of makes it annoying in a sense because if that were to happen, it might be on the internet, bro.
Exactly.
When it happens, like if
Yeah.
if he was to go out,
There'd be
somebody
footage.
somebody will live stream it.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
man.
awkward silence because this shit's so sad, man. We need to talk
Yeah.
about something that's happened.
It's dark, but
Uh, I hey, I
I
love
mean,
darks.
I love the film. I love the cinematography. I love the writing. First and foremost, I mean, the film was written by Shaka King, Will Burstyn, and it's one other name I feel like I'm forgetting, but oh yeah, the Lucas brothers. They wrote this film as well. Do you know who they are?
They did some other stuff. I just can't
Yeah,
remember what.
they're comedians, but yeah, they wrote this as well, and then it was produced by Ryan Coogler, which we're all familiar with and we love. And it's a lot of black talent in
I
this
hate
film.
I hate that I can't listen to Nipsey and Jay-Z song
Why not?
because It's not.
Go ahead
It's
and
a
say it.
great. It's a
Go ahead and
great
say
song.
it.
Nah, it's a great song. It's hard.
Yeah.
I like the beat. I like what they saying.
Yeah.
Victory Lap came out in 2018.
I believe so.
Nipsey don't get that verse in
Right.
2021.
No.
And like when that album came out, I told you how hard it was. I think before you listened to it, like I'd already listened to it
Yeah, you
at
listened
least
to it
one
like when
way
it
through,
came out, and I was like, let me wait till later on and I'll listen to it. And I did, and I
and I
loved it.
told you, I
Yeah.
told you like, yo, no, it's that good. Like it's hard,
Yeah.
and the man's still alive at that point.
Right.
But I like it was just that good.
But it was still
And then
underlooked.
it
It
was,
was still
and,
underlooked.
and that's that's not the typical. It's not the typical Jay Z formula.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't see Hove giving Nipsey a verse 3 years after his first album came out.
No.
Like what we talked about just the other day with Two Chains, how
Yeah.
Two Chains feels like Two Chains said he done asking because I put in the work. You know I could rap. I'm
Yeah.
solidified out here. I need my whole verse,
Mm-hmm.
but he ain't got it yet.
Right.
You telling me after one album, 3 years? Who's to say? I mean, Nip was about to come again because Racks in the Middle drop, which was hard. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But who's to say that that next project was gonna make Jay say, "Oh, I'm gonna give Nip a verse"?
Right.
Because when we really think about it, I mean, after 2013, after 2013, ain't that when Pound Cake came out? Pound Cake
Yeah.
came out in
Almost much the
2013.
same. Yeah. It was 2013.
What other whole verses we really got? I'm not gonna count that Jay Electronica album because their relationship is just too different.
Yeah.
But as far as just like Hove handing out features, Meek Meek got one, but I feel like that was a Ross move. I feel like that was a Ross move. And Jay, I, I'm not gonna say it like that, but Jay had some money to make back
Mm-hmm.
because he helped Meek get out of jail. So he has some he needed to see a return, and that's not necessarily to say that he got compensation, but he needed to see something come back from that. So I helped get this man out of jail. He
Right.
needs this look. Other than that, and what's free is hard. But other than that,
Yeah. Love was free.
what J verses we got, man? We ain't got no J verses. Jay
Right.
not handing out verses.
I mean, you can talk about our song. I mean, Drug Dealers Anonymous. You can talk about that all day. But
When that was 20 what?
when was that? 2017, 18 maybe?
Drug
You might have to correct me.
dealers anonymous. 2016.
16. Oh. Huh. But even with that,
2016.
yeah.
And Pound
Yeah.
Cake did come out in 2013. That's
Yeah.
3 years. And I don't know any more any more J verses in between that time. Yeah, we honest. I don't know no more J verses after 2013.
You
That
got the
wasn't
keys, the
his.
keys, the keys.
You know what, bro? We can stop talking about music. This is a film podcast.
Like I said, bro, it's gonna be whatever we make it. So
Nah, this is a film
I
podcast.
mean,
Why
if
we
you
talking
don't want
about
to talk
music?
about DJ Khaled, then you can just say that.
Next subject.
All right, so back to Judas and the Black Messiah. The standouts to me were the performances, the music. I love the music in this movie. Like when it was time to get serious, the music showed that. You would hear these low horns and these subtle percussions. I love that. But when it
Acting like Kendrick
comes,
Perkins.
huh?
I'm acting like Kendrick Perkins.
I don't know why.
All that huffing and puffing.
But I give the film a 9 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And like I told you, when I finished watching it, I thought it was just an okay film. But when I thought about what happened and when I researched everything, and I thought, well, I put into perspective how well they were able to capture the spirit of the times and show the events that happened in such a way that it's not necessarily easy to pick up, but I mean, it wasn't boring like the little things or anything like that. But just the fact that this movie is going to start and it's going to put a little spark and put a little bit of hop into a lot of these other people that are making movies, especially when they're doing movies based on a separate time. Because I mean, we talked about it before. This film has a Detroit kind of vibe to it,
In
where
a
they show
sense,
things that we don't want to see, but that's just the way it happened.
Detroit was just different
It's a
though,
different
bro.
animal, of course, yeah. But yeah, in that sense, that's when I just started thinking about everything, and I put it into perspective. I watched it again later that night, and I got to give it a 9 out of 10. I have to.
I'll give it a 8 just because I don't like the way it was scored.
You didn't like the score?
No.
Why not?
Some of that music was played at like just the wrong time. Like I hate to say it, like it was just played completely out of turn. Or it just wasn't the right song. How about that? Like I just didn't I feel like it could have been curated better.
Gotcha.
And I think The Last Dance spoiled me because The Last Dance was just scored perfectly. Like I mean, you got to think that trended every week for 7 weeks. Yeah, The Last Dance itself trended, Michael Jordan, yeah, but
Mhm.
for 7 straight weeks, people talked about just how good the music was that was played, and it was played at the perfect moment.
Yeah,
I
but that
I
that's
feel
that's
like
the thing though. Like you're comparing
it's two di-
multiple
it's two it's
part.
two it's two
Yeah,
different things.
and
It's two
that's
different
my
things.
argument with that because you have to think like the music here was basically there to portray emotion.
But it just wasn't good music.
Hmm.
It what to me it wasn't. Like I when for this movie, it was a lot of moments where there could have been like slow lethargic tones used. And the reason I say that is because in band, to warm up your instruments, we used to have to play chorales, and it was usually a lot of long tones, big sounds. It was nothing, and it could also be dark. Like, you know what I mean? Like just the style of music. It was a lot of big long sounds. This movie had a lot of moments where it was just it should have just been like big long sounds leading up to something happening. I didn't get that. Not the way I wanted it. Like it just was not good to me. I did
Hmm.
not like the score of this movie at all. It just
Gotcha.
wasn't it didn't hit. That's not to say it wasn't moments where it's like, okay, I'm nodding my head or tapping my foot, but it's just certain moments where I did not care for the music at all that was played for a certain scene. It didn't take
Hmm.
away from the scene, but it's just like this could be better with some, like if it was a different song or beat, this could
Yeah.
be so much better. But I
Yeah.
still, you know what I mean? I still give it an 8. Like I liked it. I
Hmm.
watched it maybe 4 times up to this point. Like I'm
Right.
gonna continue to watch it until HBO Max takes it off because it's just
Hmm.
that good. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
die in no car wreck. Ain't gonna die slipping on no ice.
Yeah.
That shit
I hear
hard.
you. But also I think that just the fact that everything was just kind of to the point,
Yeah,
and it could be jarring for some. You know what I mean?
bruh. My man walked when they walked in on the other side of Chicago, and old buddy said, um, the dude that was running the meeting was like, I know we've uh we've oppressed your people. And the white dude sitting in the front row was like, I ain't done shit.
Right.
My mom and daddy were sharecroppers. Come on,
Right.
man. What can you say about it? And then at the same time, when Buddy told when Chairman Fred told Jimmy Palmer, Jimmy Palmer said something about the being an overseer or something like that. And Chairman Fred was like, well, what about if the overseer is, black or something like that? I forget how that went, but that whole exchange is just like, brother, you saying this, but you wrong. You ain't even
Right.
no kind of wrong. You just wrong. That's it.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing else to say. Like, stop. And that's something else we don't get. The
Right.
today, if I respect you and you said something wrong, we should share a mutual enough respect to where I can tell you, hey, yo, you were wrong.
Yeah.
You don't get that no more.
Yeah. It's totally different. It's
Yeah,
totally
that's
different.
that's so raw. You got that live New York City background in the back. Yo, I'm surprised this whole time we've been on this, I ain't heard no sirens yet, no horns. It's a bunch of
Right.
it's a bunch of snow on the ground still, so that's probably why. But
Yeah.
you heard the building movements of the building, but you ain't heard like no sirens or nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was still good. But I give it an 8 because of the score.
Yeah.
I give it an 8 because of the score.
I got you. But yeah. Did you want to talk about the soundtrack at all?
Nah, that
Don't.
my only gripe with the whole thing is that I wish it's just something about that song, man,
Yeah.
with Jay and Nip. Something about that song. I don't
Yeah.
Nip doesn't get that 3 years after Victory Lap drops if he's still alive. And
Yeah.
I don't care for that. And I love Jay-Z. My favorite rapper is Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
But and I love Nipsey Hussle because nobody put me on Nipsey Hussle. I found him myself. But at the same time, I know that does not happen if he's still alive.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. I like the soundtrack. I love how stacked it was when it comes to the talent. I mean, you got Black Thought, Nas, like you said, Nipsey Hussle and Jay Z.
BJ.
Yeah, you got JID. It's just a slew of people, and it was pleasant to hear. Like a lot
Yeah.
of that music, I can still go back to it probably years later and get something out of it. So I really enjoyed it. But yeah, so that was our thoughts and review on Judas and the Black Messiah. But on to more lighthearted topics. Do you have any movies coming up soon that you're anticipating?
Mm-mm, not
Nothing.
now. That was it. Judas and the Black Messiah was it. I still
Gotcha.
remember that first trailer. Chairman Fred Hampton of the Black Panther Party.
And when that
I
trailer came
still
out, I sent it to you, and I was like, "Yo,
I
what are your
know.
thoughts?" And you said out of your own mouth, "I don't know, man. Like, it might be all right, but I don't know, man. I don't like Daniel Kaluuya like that still." And I was like, "Nah."
After the
I was like, "This is gonna be different." I
after
said, "It's
that
gonna be
next
different."
trailer drop and he was doing that I
And you
am a
called me.
revolutionary.
You called me,
That was it,
and I
bro.
said, "Yeah." I said, "What's up?" And he's like, "You was right." And I was like, "Right about what?"
I had to
It's gonna be
see
a
it.
good movie. I gotta see it now. I gotta see it. I was like, "Yeah."
That was it. I had to see it. After that, I had to see it. After that, I am a revolutionary. I
And
had
I
to
mean,
see it.
it's crazy how it's to the point where when we talk on the phone, we talk about the movie right then and there. But like I told you, I wanted to have you on so we could wait and get it all out here. So appreciate it.
You're quite welcome,
Thank
Dom.
you bunches. But I'm
Glad to
excited for
see
this
that.
new Mortal Kombat trailer. Well, the movie anyway. The trailer came out. I love the trailer. Have you
I
seen it?
still have not watched it.
I wish you did. I love it. I love that it's not overdone. Like the blood's not overdone. I like how they're leaving that up to the games. It's some cool action pieces. And I feel like if they treat every fight in this movie with respect, it could be one of the best.
You know what they need? They
What?
need the dude. I can't remember if it's a dude or a female. They need the person that choreographed for John Wick and Extraction Point.
The dude. Yeah. I'll speaking of that, I'll get to that in a second. Um yeah. And then also with Mortal Kombat, the cast seems like they're gonna be able to channel the spirits of the characters that they're portraying. I don't know if you've seen the pictures or anything, but the guy that's playing Jax, he if you look at him, you'll be like, oh yeah, he's definitely gonna be a good Jax. And
Looks
then
like him.
not necessarily looks like him because Jax is black man, so we can all look like Jax in a way, but you can tell that he's gonna have like that hard nosed kind of army and special forces kind of like lingo, and
What
you
about
can
my
tell that he's
dog?
gonna bring something to the role.
Is
Who's
my
your dog?
dog in this shit?
Who?
Get over here.
Scorpion is definitely in it. That's why I want you to watch the trailer because there's some cool scenes with him. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything about that, but I'm also excited for Godzilla versus King Kong because you know how much I loved Godzilla King of the Monsters 2 years ago.
That shit was so annoying.
I loved it. So for this, I mean, I understand that it's going to be Godzilla versus King Kong for maybe a few points of the movie, but you know that they're not going to kill each other. You know there's going to be another threat that comes and they're going to team up to take it down.
So
And I'm okay with that.
what is the point?
It's an action movie.
The
You
little
knew
things. The little things was a thriller. What was the point? Exactly.
you're not about to stop me from not liking this movie. So
I might
yeah,
not.
I'm excited for it. Yeah. Cause I mean, bro, you gotta think, I'm a movie guy. I like stuff. You don't. So yeah,
It's so
just
crazy that
just
I took the film class in college and you didn't.
exactly. And I still did better than you.
You didn't.
So I did.
You didn't take the class. I
I did better than
did.
you.
And I passed it. I passed that class with a
I made you
B.
like Frozen. What are you talking about?
Do you wanna bet us
And you know what's funny? Since you said that, we legit watched the original Godzilla while you were in that class. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, and you loved
I
it.
I had to watch it.
Yeah, and you loved it. See, that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, another movie I'm looking forward to is Nobody, which stars Bob Odenkirk, who you know from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He's Saul. And
Hey.
I did ever send you this trailer?
Nope.
So he's basically a dad. The movie is directed by Derek Kolstad, who directed all three John Wick films. Yeah. So it's
I
Saul.
might watch this.
He's a family man. Something happens, but you know, since it's directed by the guy that did John Wick, something's gonna happen to make this man be a kick-ass fellow
How to shoot them up. Bang, bang.
and fight. And I mean, they show a fight on the bus in the movie, and it's cool. And I like, you know, I like these type of movies. These kind of, I'm retired and now I got to go back to my old ways. I love that. That's what I loved about John Wick. Like I'm retired,
So
I'm happy, things are going well, but then things go bad, then they get
so
worse.
can I say my can I say my piece about John Wick?
Yeah, sure. No, 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 no. If you about to say what I think about to say, this is not the platform. You can say that on your
Why
platform.
not? Why not?
Anyway,
Come on, bro.
I'm looking forward to getting some
Hey,
balls to the walls action.
yeah, that's cool. Hey, Damo,
No,
who John Wick remind you of,
no,
bro?
Keanu Reeves,
Nah, who
but
John Wick remind you of?
Keanu Reeves,
John
but
Wick drove a Mustang like guns and had a pit bull. Who John Wick remind you of?
Keanu Reeves.
What I
But
drive,
anyway,
Damo. What I drive, Damo.
Chevy Impala,
What I got at the crib, Damo.
Silver Bullet.
No silver bullet has been gone for a long time. What I got?
I don't know,
What I
but
got? I got a
anyway,
Mustang. Hey, Damo. I got a lot of guns and I like them, don't I? I like guns, don't I, Damo? Hey, Damo, what kind of dog? What kind of dog I used to have? Damo, what was Brutus, bruh? What was Brutus? What kind of dog Brutus was, bruh? Hey,
mm,
Brutus was a pit, ain't it? Hey, Damo, what color was Brutus, bruh? What color Man, come on, bruh. Come on, Damo. What color Brutus was, man?
I'm letting you get your talk out.
I might as well.
I'm gonna be on my phone. You get what you got to get out.
Black John Wick out here, man.
Go ahead, get your stuff out.
Nah, we good now. You can put your phone down. You ain't want to
Thank you.
admit it. You ain't
Thank
want to
you.
admit it.
There's nothing to admit because you're wrong.
Damo,
Anyway,
what
I
kind of
just
car do I drive? I like guns and I had a pit bull.
I
What?
hope that the film is gonna be balls to the walls,
I
action all the way
I
through.
this man acting like I ain't John Wick. I'm Black John Wick out here, man.
You're not. But I'm expecting some excellent combat fighting scenes, some close combat fighting scenes, and I hope that the film also has like that heart. Like, yeah, he's killing all these people probably and beating these people up, but he has to go back to his family at the end of the day. So I'm hoping that this movie is going to be amazing. Yeah, but I think those are three that I'm looking forward to right now. I know you haven't even started WandaVision yet, have you?
No,
Oh God!
I
But
keep seeing y'all talk about it on Twitter, but
I'm gonna have a WandaVision review for you guys sometime soon. Hopefully, I'll get it out when the
Hey yo,
First
to
season is
to
over because this guy hasn't seen it yet.
to all the Dom trappers, I be trying to tell him, bro, just go watch a movie and then record. Just watch a movie, record. He don't want to do that. Y'all could
Because
get
I
a
have other
whole.
plans for that.
I ain't want to hear it. If it
Oh, so
was
you don't want to
me,
hear my plans for what I have
I
going
ain't
on?
want to hear it. If I had anything to do with y'all and what y'all would be getting, he would be watching a movie a day and putting out a review a day. But he ain't want to listen to me. He ain't want to listen to me. But it's all right though. I be
Keep
trying
talking.
to tell him.
Keep talking.
I'm Hey, look, man. The Dom trappers are about to get on your ass, nigga, and you gonna have to start recording more. All that.
Hey,
I'm sorry, I skipped a few weeks or a month before I
I had to
recorded
wait on you
again.
to be ready to record. So
Nah. Don't
y'all
blame
could
this
have had
on
this
me.
episode weeks ago,
Don't blame this on
but
me.
no. But anyway, since he wants to be such a smart aleck and kind of give away my plan, I'm thinking about starting a Patreon where if you guys would like to support me, I would have an entry fee of $1 a month. And with that $1, of course, I'd probably give free access to my Discord. But you join the Discord, we all just build the community and go from there. And I want to say maybe once or twice a week, we have watch parties where we sit and we watch a movie and we give commentary and share thoughts on that. Yeah, it'd be like a big community thing. Would you love to be a part of that, Greg?
I'm a
Habibi?
co-founder.
But would you be a part of it? If I started a Patreon, would you support?
I got 50 cent for you, bro. You know I
I
got
said
your
I said a
back.
buck. I said $1.
Got 50 cent for you, cuz.
All I got is 15 in the bank, bro. All I got is
Hey,
15 in the
look,
bank.
man. Hey, look. It depends on what movies you gonna be watching, cause
I would leave that up to the community. I would not force y'all to watch anything that y'all don't want to watch. I'd probably do like a poll and everyone vote on that poll. And whatever comes second and third could come later, but first would be whatever wins that poll. Doesn't that seem like a great idea?
y'all ain't gonna watch none of
Doesn't
that
it seem
shit.
like a great idea?
That is kind of smart. I ain't gonna stunt.
Yeah.
You
So
you
if
you
you would
might be
love
on
to
to
support
something.
the Dom Trap even further, I will have that option on Patreon available for you. Once I get the page set up, I'll send out links and yeah, we'll do that. Also, don't
Got
forget to
50
like,
cent for you,
subscribe,
cuz.
share, and all that jazz on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts where this podcast is available. But yeah. Also on the subject of WandaVision, did you see the trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier? So you didn't watch the Super Bowl commercials? No, you didn't see it.
I don't like the Super Bowl. I didn't like the Super Bowl. I lost money, number one, but
I didn't like it either. But you know who the Falcon is from Marvel? You know?
yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be him and the Winter Soldier. They have a TV show that's gonna be coming out. Are
You
you
know
gonna
what? I
watch
might
that?
be lying. I think I did see that.
I'm sure you did. But yeah, it looks really cool. I'm excited. Um, I'm really excited for anything that Marvel has going on right now, just because we've been without Marvel for like a year, and now they're finally picking things back up with WandaVision, with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, along with the Black Widow movie that's supposedly coming in May, but we'll see about that. Yeah, I'm excited for Marvel's future.
Remember when I hated Marvel?
Yeah, and now you love them. I'm also
They
excited for
all right.
DC because next month we have this new Justice League movie coming out. Well, it's not new, but it's going to be with the direction that the original director directed it to be.
I ain't watching that shit.
I am. And then they also have Suicide Squad.
I ain't watching that shit.
I know you're not. You don't care about that. And then the Batman is coming out next year, so I'm excited for that as well.
Christian Bale is my Batman.
Okay, whatever. Yesterday afternoon, I woke up kind of late, and I went to the movies. Took myself out on a date. I went to go and see Nomadland. I know you've never heard of this movie.
Definitely not.
Okay, so brief synopsis is about this woman who's a nomad. She lives in her van, and she basically goes around getting like little jobs. Like she gets a job at Amazon at one point because she's a nomad. And here's the concept of the film is she lives in a city called Empire. It's Empire, Nevada, I believe. The city basically shut down. Like their main source of income just kind of shut down to
Mm-hmm.
the point to where the state had to basically get rid of their entire zip code. Yeah.
That's
So
sad.
that everyone that had something there didn't have it anymore. So people were having to leave because it was just like a non-existent place
A
at
question
that
for
point.
you, real quick, before you keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Was she in one of those Scooby Doo vans or nah? If
Nah,
she wasn't in a Scooby Doo van, I ain't watching it.
she doesn't have that. She can't afford that really. So she
So what
has
kind
one
of
of those
van
kind of
she in?
like white painter vans. Yeah, but of course she had to fix it to where she can sleep in it and stuff like that.
Mm,
And her husband's dead. She doesn't have much really. So
She ain't got no family.
well, she does, but she doesn't want to go back to her family.
I feel her pain. Maybe I will watch
You
this.
should watch it because there's a super touching scene with her sister. She needs to borrow money from her sister for to repair her van, and her sister's like, "Look, I'm gonna give you this money, but first you gotta come see me."
Sounds like my sister.
Yeah, so it's a lot in this movie, and it's directed by Chloe Zhao, which you may not know, but she attended film school in NYU, and Spike Lee was one of her professors.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's kind of cool that now he's making great movies again, and this movie is one. I give this movie a 9 out of 10. I'll talk about it in
Yo,
the next episode.
why you throwing shots at Spike, man? All
You
right,
mean
okay, all right. You gonna talk about it
you
next episode. You
you
gonna talk about it
know
next episode.
you
What you
know
about to
how I
say?
feel about Miracle at Saint Anna.
What was you about to say? Nah, forget that.
So we're not gonna talk about Miracle at Saint Anna.
What
You
about
wanted to talk
Chicago?
about Spike
What
though.
about Chicago, bro? Chicago, the
Chirac.
musical. Oh, Chirac. I'm being
Yeah.
disrespectful. Chirac, the musical. You ain't want to talk about that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mm-mm.
So, so you gonna chill. So you gonna talk about it next
I'm
episode?
gonna
Is
talk
what you
about
said last.
Nomadland next episode because the guest on that episode, I think he told me he's gonna go watch it because he watches things that I recommend. So yeah, that's gonna be a great review because I have a lot to say about that film. From the music to the cinematography to the performance by Frances McDormand, who plays the lead character, as
Mm-hmm.
well as the actual nomads who are just like these people. And she meets these people, and it's super touching, bro, because you feel for these people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about the movie. Like it made me feel, and it made me put a lot of things into perspective because of things that they were saying. So, yeah, Nomadland is probably gonna be one of my favorite movies of the year, if not the decade. So, be looking forward to my discussion about that. And gee, anything else you want to talk about? Got any questions for me? Anything you need to say to the Dom Trappers?
When you gonna stop being such a nice guy?
What are you talking about?
You always such a nice guy.
I'm neutral. Let me be neutral.
It's gonna be my favorite film, maybe for the last decade.
That makes me nice because I love a film.
You're such a nice guy.
I might go see it again tomorrow.
Say hello to the bad guy.
Who's bad? I don't know anybody that's bad besides Michael
All right,
Jackson. He was
all
bad.
right, all right.
All
Michael
right,
had a nose
so
like mine before you got it fixed.
I guess so. But if you don't have anything else to say, I think this may be the end of this episode for the Dom Trap. So
Walk in your trap and take over your trap.
you're not doing that.
Hey,
So,
hey, walk in your trap and take over your trap.
uh,
Hey, hey.
Mr. Edge, I want to thank you so much for
Walked in your trap and took over your trap,
Mr.
playboy.
Edge. I want to thank you so much for coming into the trap. Um,
Walk in your trap and took over your trap.
you having fun, ain't you?
Walk in your trap and take over your trap.
All right, you
Hey,
want to close out with some words?
walk in your trap and take over your trap. Hey, you know what you should do? You need to take like an excerpt of that and put that at the beginning so they could see how I walked in your trap and took over your trap.
But you didn't.
I did. I
You did not.
took over your trap today,
You
man.
are a psychopath. You believe
Walk
that?
in your trap and take over your trap.
No.
All
Anyway,
right.
yeah, that's the end of the episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, support me. Patreon coming soon if you want to support me there. We'll do a lot of
50
fun stuff
Cent for
there.
you, homeboy.
What? Why are you cutting me off? I'm ending
I
this.
was just ad libbing, you know, like
Okay, what were you saying? Add lib a little bit louder so that people can
50
hear you.
Cent for you, homeboy.
So I busted you my split star. All right, cool.
All
I'm
right,
cool with
man.
that.
This
I'm
episode
cool
is
with
over.
that.
Like, share, and
I'm cool with me
subscribe
being Buster Rhymes, me being
to
Buster
the
Bus,
Dom Trap. You know
and
what
me
I'm
being Spliffy
saying?
Spliff.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hey, yo, you know what though? I ain't mad at that because I watched the interview where Buster said that Spliff was his big homie.
You're not my big homie though.
Before the music, Spliff was Buster big homie.
You're not my big homie.
So
You my
little
side. You're my
homie,
side chick.
look, man, get out. All right, bro. All
You're
right,
my
all
side
right.
chick. You want to be my side chick?
This over now. How I end this? How I end this?
Let me close this out for real though.
All
Thank you
right, go
so
ahead.
much for listening, everyone. Next episode should be out a lot sooner than it took for this one to come out. So yeah, support me everywhere. I love and appreciate every last one of you guys. All of my Dom Trappers, thank you. And have a blessed one.